All right. Hi, everyone. I accidentally hit go live and I forgot to share the stream. So I'm going to see if I can do that really quick. I have never actually done that before. Let me just see if I can hop on over to social media and post this. Just take 1 second. It's really good to be here today. It's December 19th. And we are here for day 19 of this 21-day goddess meditation and activation. And I've been gone all week, but I'm back. And I'm really looking forward to this. Oh, good. Okay. Looks like it's going to go. Oh, no, it doesn't look like it's going to share. All right. So I'm not sure if, yeah, it's not going to share. All right. So I hope that some people get the message that we're here live today. And we will just go ahead and get started. I see that some of you are on. I'm glad that you got the notification. You must have got it over email. So really, really good to be here. It's Saturday where I live, and we're here for day 19. So if some people did not get the message, but in the last video, I let you know that we would be taking a little space, and I wanted you to, at the best you could, just tune in every day, perhaps with I am, and even go back and review any video that was powerful for you. Hi, nice that you could make it. And I said we'd come back and do at least 3 more videos. And so we're here today. I'm going to do today, the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st will meet for our final. In fact, the 20th and the 21st will be celebrating solstice because different parts of the world will already be in that energy as I am here on the East Coast of the United States. So, okay, good to see some of you coming on. YouTube alert, good, yay. Okay, so I didn't get it put up on, if you guys can share it on Facebook, I would appreciate that. I didn't get it shared to my social media accounts. I accidentally hit go live, but we're here now, we're ready to go. So today is December 19th. This is a very special day for me, and it dawned on me when I woke up this morning. 8 years ago today, and I want to share this with you because it's really connected to my work, and just the energy of it is so profound. 8 years ago today, I launched the Art of the Feminine podcast, and I know a lot of you have been with me since that time, the whole 8 years. It was December 19th, and the very first episode was called Light Body Woman, Awakening the Body of Love. And it was such a magical energy that day. And I haven't, that it was on, the podcast was on iTunes, and it was really received all over the world. It did really well. It had a huge impact in this movement. And oh, good, glad to see you could make it from Sydney. It made it all the way around the world. Currently, it's been taken down, and it was because the platform that was hosting it, I think, went under during the lockdown. And so, which I'm surprised about that, but I recently was notified that it's down. So it's no longer available. They have, sometimes it's up on YouTube. It's not up right now, but I think I'm going to come back and put a link to that very first one. It was profound. Light Body Woman, Awakening the Body of Love. And that was out of the stream of my work that deals with healing the feminine side of humanity. Now, the feminine side of humanity doesn't have to be in a female body at all. However, there's a certain work that women that identify as women are doing at this time. It's very important and very powerful. And the mentorship that I'm doing in January is under the same name. It's Light Body Woman. And so the reason it's such a powerful time is because all of that work at its highest octave, and I can't even tell you how profound it is I'm getting ready to put it into the world on the highest level that I have right now. And so that's going to be happening in January. And we'll also bring some of that work in today. But I have the link now for all the information, and I've sent it out for all of you who have contacted me about it. It's going to be a very deep experience, and at the professional level, it's truly a commitment for 3 months. But the anniversary of that work is today. And so it's a beautiful day. All right. I think there was one other thing I was going to say. I want to know how everyone's doing. I would love to hear, even in the comments, just where you're at. We'll talk about where the energies are, and I'll tell you what I received this week, because this is big. This is big. This is bigger than I even realized. In fact, that's why after doing those 12 or 13 days in a row, and I can't even find the list I had, after doing those days, I needed to take a break and go in deeper, because this is what I want to say. We can see in the outer world that consciousness is shifting. It's obvious, and we're going to talk about the outer world. But what happens is, we can either be burned by it or we can integrate it. And for most of us, it's a combination of both. We're getting a little bit burned, meaning we're having to purify. And today we're going to talk about purification as we enter the birth canal. Today, the theme for today is the birth canal. It's burning out some old things, and it's really brought everything to the surface. And so because the outer world is noisy, more noisy than it's ever been with technology. So it takes a little extra effort to balance everything right now. And so don't feel hopeless or lost if you're feeling up and down. I know people who are so stable and so solid who are losing it right now, meaning they're just like, what's happening? It's kind of like the rug underneath is going like this. Consciousness is shifting, and everything that we've known as normal, our normal, has shifted. In the physical world, this is how I was shown to say it. We think of, is it Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva in the Eastern tantric traditions, but there's the creative energy, the sustaining energy, and the destroying energy. And right now in matter, the destroying force is very unpleasant for us. But in matter, we experience those three stages of goddess energy: to create, to sustain, and to destroy, and then we rebirth. There's all kinds of ideas that are out there around this energy, but truly, if you look the whole history of humankind, you look at, we have all our mythology tells us about these great falls, these great destructions, these times of tremendous challenge when everything was kind of wiped clean and we started over. It's not that we have to, I don't want to go into it at that level, but when things break down, we have growing pains on this level. As we get into more of our body of light level, it's more of a projection, it's more of a visioning, and I'm going to be teaching a lot of this in the upcoming work that I'm doing. We're activating our true creative imagination and our true creative power. In this world, all the teachings of manifestation, the law of attraction, it's all out there. But the question always is, why can't I just do it? I mean, why can't I learn it? It's so very simple, and then own it and be in that vibration. And the reason is because we carry this underbelly of baggage with us, and that actually prevents us from having consistency and continuity of consciousness. We get little hints of it, but then we fall, and then we go back to the lower desires because it's so much easier to indulge. This is something else I wanted to say. It came in really strong today, that in order to hold power on the earth frequency right now, with the darker energies, they have to go darker. So what happens, this all came through a visual that was so powerful. The darker forces, meaning those things that are just not in alignment, that seem to be suffocating and squeezing right now, when the light's coming in so powerfully as it is right now, they have to go darker in order to survive. It's like sends it into fight or flight, that if I don't face the light, I have to reach for the dark and go harder, meaning the tactics that are, what's a good word? That are going against the highest light of the Aquarian age coming in. So the tactics of separateness, the tactics of control, corruption, just not having goodness and wisdom in the world. When we look at, the corporate world, the financial world, the political world, the medical world, the even the world of art and entertainment. There's a much higher level that everyone could step on, where it's having abundance in this world is a wonderful thing. In fact, we're going to be talking about gaining back that goddess ability to create in this frequency. But but those people who are really, and not everybody, because there's a lot of sleepers and goodness planted that's activating right now very powerfully. I'm seeing it. But to not, it doesn't mean everyone's at the same level and that we have to take care of everybody. We're not responsible for everybody. But as we gain power and wisdom and knowledge, part of the Aquarian age energies is service. It means that we offer a platform for those who want to step on and begin to heal and integrate their own creative abilities and grow, are able to do through some of the service and the high frequency creative energy of the people who have. Now, as it is right now, a lot of the people who haven't even started to do their alchemy. So some of those people are still in the dark, haven't crossed over from the underbelly, and are just going to completely go. They're just going to fall and then have to start the process. Some of the people are good people. They just haven't come into that heart activation yet, where they understand that we need people. This is the other thing, and I know I'm jumping around, but this all has to do with the Aquarian age. We need leaders. We need some structure, because there's all different consciousness on the planet right now. And nice to see you. And I hope you got the message. I think I left you that I'd be back today. Okay. We need to have people that hold structure, because the population is growing and growing and growing. And that's why some of the higher ups are nervous about this, because we're rapidly populating this earth. I mean, at a really fast rate. In 5 years, it'll be a different planet just with population growth alone. And so some of these, people who hold this decision-making power and this financial power are looking at that and are kind of scared, like, what are we going to do? We have to bring this situation under control. So there's all different kinds of things happening right now, plans that are in place to try to, some are not as dark as people think. Some of them are just very human and trying to figure things out. And what I'm seeing right now is the humanness everywhere. So what we can do, we're going to tune in right now, and then we're going to go into another level. What we can do right now is really practice what we preach when we talk about having compassion and reaching out through our hearts and connecting with all people, and really calling forth the highest, visioning the highest happening. Because we're going to go through these stages of growing pains and development as we move through the birth canal. But we always have the choice, we've talked about this in many of the videos, to create our own field. In other words, the world could be falling down and you don't have to fall down with it. And many people are not meant to fall down with it. And so that's what I hope to leave you with right now, after we finish this birth into the age of Aquarius, but go through the solstice portal. The world can be falling down and it's okay. You're here to remember the higher ways and to be a coordinate of those energies. Then, as this sunlight fluid, the water of the divine feminine and the divine mother is watering our dry earth, the fire becomes more like a cooling water rather than a scorching fire from below. We refer to that as the sunlight fluid and the solar feminine light, that it becomes, it activates our states of consciousness and allows us to birth what it is that we're holding, especially if it's aligned. So I know this time is hard, and I know that there's a lot of fluctuation. We're all battling whatever is coming up from the subconscious that needs to be looked at. But in this time, we can also begin to let go of things. If there's something that you're really dealing with over and over and it doesn't serve you, and you're reaching for it and you're holding on to it like a pit bull, let it go. Just let it go, or pray that the highest information will be revealed to you. So you can start to just, this is the purification, either neutralize it, let it go, or transmute it and bring it into new creative power. Because we're going to go through all of the changes, and so many things are changing. And the power of our words is getting more and more important. There's so much coming in right now. I can hardly organize it, but I'm just going to go for it. The power of our word is huge. Every single word we speak has weight, especially if you hold light. A lot of people talking about light codes. If you have those light codes, you better know that your words are going to have more effect, including on you. So make sure you honor your words, your internal words, as well as your spoken word. It's so big right now. In fact, if you're trying to go in a direction you're not supposed to, you'll experience tremendous forces rise up against you. And though I want to be also clear, and this is coming from the other side, oftentimes when we begin to hold the light, when we touch spiritual force and the forces of nature, we're going to shift and do a little bit different energy on this one. When we make contact with the higher light within, if we're not prepared to do the balancing work, it can really throw us and it can bring us into turmoil. And we have talked about it, but that's why the process of initiation is often slow and guided process. Because sometimes when we touch that light, we're like, oh my God, I'm home. And then comes the dark nights and just the energies that teach us how to balance it. So part of you have to be able to discern, am I aligned and just facing the force of the world that's coming towards me? Because when you're holding the true light, you have the whole force of humanity that's fighting to keep the status quo will challenge you on it. The whole force. In fact, even once you hold master energy, that's what you're doing 24/7. It's you against the world, but you've come to do that so you can handle it, and you're getting wise really quick. And it's a tremendous space to be in, but it's no joke. The other thing is that you've tapped the light and you're not quite able to hold it and integrate it yet. And so you're spinning and you're looking for something to hold on to, a life raft, so you don't drown in your own forces. Just ask yourself, whatever it is you're going through, to understand, to be able to discern what it is, and to know that if you're really, really starting to get some traction and you're getting challenges, anchor into that light, because you're meant to be holding a mirror up to it and not backing down. In that case, it's a tremendous honor to be holding that light, and you're also linking with souls who are with you, souls who are working with you. So funny. My phone is going crazy through this whole time since we started. So, take a look at all of that. Just look at the past week, and the energies have been really powerful. And because the outer world is battling it out right now too. I want to mention the book that I've brought in a few times, The Darkening Age, because it's the longest it's ever taken me to read a book. I usually read a book in like 2 days or maybe 3, but this one I've spread out through this. These forces of the right and left, of spirituality and science, have been fighting of masculine and feminine, have been going at each other and starting rumors about each other since the beginning of time. They're so ruthless towards each other in the shadow aspect. It's playing out on the stage right now. I have really looked into this and find that you want to not get involved with the shadow side of either force, because it will take you down. You will have to go down to the shadow side that's not even your own. You'll hook onto a group think, and you'll start processing the whole shadow, and it will debilitate you. So see the wisdom of both sides and start to hear with your inner hearing, and balance the scales of the goddess. Put on both wings. My two favorite symbols of the goddess are the wings of Isis and the scales of Ma'at. And both of those are about the tremendous power that we hold in our heart. Now I know what I'm going to go into. This is really powerful. Let me just see if there's anything else. Don't give up faith. Take care of yourself. Be careful about any substances you might indulge in. Right now is a time that when this water energy, sunlight fluid comes in, you want to be as crystal clear as you can, because if you're out of it, you just won't feel, you'll feel not so great. So be discerning about how you shift your consciousness right now, and find just moments of clarity. I'm drinking a lot of hot water just because for some reason when I drink hot water, I feel so pure. I connect to the water element, the purified water element, and my heart opens and I know I'm being held. It's very powerful. And connect to love. We're healing the astral level. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. I'm going to take a peek down and then we'll go into this. I brought in a quote and I'm going to talk about a specific teaching and we'll do RAM meditation. So, oh, you guys are quiet. I know it's quiet. I didn't get to share it today. So nice to see everyone who's here. And again, if you're just joining, there's some people on. It's day 19, and so this is what we're going to go into. First of all, faith. Faith, if anybody understands the divine feminine wisdom or even the words Pistis Sophia. Pistis Sophia is an ancient text. It's a really powerful one, but Pistis is faith. Sophia is wisdom. And so with faith, you become a fountain of wisdom. Without faith, no go, the door's shut. So one of the things we have to have, even for the purification process, is faith. We have to be able to access enough energy to believe. There is a really good holiday animated film. I'm going to bring this in. I used to watch it with my son. In fact, I asked him this year. I was like, can we watch this? It's Polar Express. Now, of course, this is very Hollywood, and but it's profound. That movie is. So the whole thing is about believing in Christmas or believing in the spirit of the season, the spirit, Father Christmas, and the whole journey to the it's so symbolic of awakening, even of ascension, even the bell. I mean, so anyway, I'm closely bonded with that because I watched it with my son probably 100 times since he was a child, and I think it came out the year he was born. But that's about believing, and that's about faith, and it's about, this is so beautiful, the faith of a child, and that's our innocence. When we have faith, we activate the inner child that has all the power. It's truly the child that believes that makes it to the North Pole. And it shows even through that whole journey, all the challenges, the sliding on the top of the train, there's so many things. I'm going to watch it. I might watch it tonight. That this little boy faces to get to, and the North Pole is at the top of the mountain. It's at the very top of the mountain. It's like the hermit standing on the top of the mountain with the lantern with the Star of David. Very, very symbolic. But it's about activating our hearts so that we can make this journey through all of the elements and so much more. All right. So, oh yeah. It's really magical. Watch in fact, everything that's coming out of entertainment, watch with the heart of a child. And I'm going to talk more about that in a bit. So this is what I wanted to say. We're going to talk a little bit about purification. This is the birth canal. Now, this I found in a random place, and I often refer to these as the male streams. And I do so because I'm very well versed in many of them, but they tend to neglect and leave out any feminine language, any talk about the mother, any talk about the child, any talk about birth, family, love, sexuality. It's just missing in action from many of the more male lineage texts. But this one has, a lot of them, I find truth everywhere. And this one has some profound wisdom. Every time I open it, if I need a little cross-reference, it always shows me exactly what I'm working on. I kid you not, I opened this morning and I went right to this. So I'm going to say this. All right. Okay, we'll talk about balancing masculine and feminine. We're definitely going to get to that. Here is a quote. I'm not going to tell you what it's from just yet. There is a way of finding certainty right here and now. Refuse to be part of fearful dreams, whatever form they take, for you will lose identity in them. You find yourself by not accepting them as causing you and giving you effects. You stand apart from them, but not apart from him who dreams them. Thus, you separate the dreamer from the dream and join in one, but let the other go. The dream is but an illusion of the mind, and with the mind you would unite, but never with the dream. It is the dream you fear and not the mind. You see them as the same because you think you are but a dream. And then it just says you cannot tell apart what is illusion and what is yourself. So I'm going to read the first part of that really quickly now. There is a way of finding certainty right here and now. Refuse to be part of the fearful dreams, whatever form they take, for you will lose identity in them. So, and I'll tell you in a minute where that is from. There's another part of this very same text that says the space between the fallen soul and the power of the entire creative goddess is such a short distance. It's this tiny little space. And so we're going to take it to that. We believe that that space is every kind of dark, devilish, demonic form we can think of. All of those forms are in that little space. We contribute to the blockage of that space. So I'm connecting that space to the birth canal that we're talking about today. So in this text, it says, all you have to do is clear but that little space, and the entire creative force, as I refer to the creative imagination of the goddess, is integrated and becomes you. I found this today, and it was so, I just opened it and it went, and that's what I read. And it was exactly what I was going to talk about. What this means is that little space, when I'm talking about healing the astral level, the emotional level, that sort of feminine astral level where there's a higher side and a lower side that's completely been that's where we integrate our masculine and feminine. That is clogged. The birth canal is clogged right now. But the beauty of this is that the power that was given us when we entered as a divine spark into matter was free will. So this is our free will. We make the decision when we want that space to clear. When we want to make the space for the cosmic mother, the Holy Spirit, the divine creative power of the goddess to integrate into our heart. On an archetypal level, it's really in the heart. It's where we're clogged. It's where humanity needs to open. And there's a heart and there's a higher heart as well. There's many layers of the heart, but this is what we are taking on right now, because it's like the hero's journey. We're going through that. It's like the Polar Express. We're going to the North Pole. We're going up because it's the fallen soul, and then this tube, and then the higher, and it's all like a figured eight, really. That's why the figured eight is so powerful, and that's why I thought it was really special. It's the 8-year anniversary of Light Body Woman. 8 is the number that activates that access and that flow. When 8 in its lower vibration is Saturn, and it's very contracting. In its higher vibration, it opens up the flow of infinity within us. And it's right where that 8 crosses, the above and the below, that we have access. That's our, what you might have heard called 0 point, but it's really divine love as well. So let me just take a moment. That saying, by the way, is from ACIM, A Course in Miracles. I know it's, people either love it or they just cannot take it. But that that's where it came from. And so I have a part of my work. I'm going to share this with you because I think it's kind of interesting. The day when my son was born, there was a woman who came from New York City and who sat with me. And I've never been the type that really went to like healers or psychics or anything like that. I've done a lot of healing work, but I've never gone to anyone. I never seek people out to say, tell me what's going to happen or anything like that. But I had gone to see her one time when I lived in New York City. An ex-boyfriend told me about her, and she was really amazing. And when I told her I was having a child, she wanted to come see me after he was born. And so she came down and she read for me, and it was so powerful. None of it made sense at the time, and it's all come to pass. It was a really divine moment. And it was the last time I ever did anything like that. And she told me that my soul would incarnate in the great cosmic web, where there were streams. This is powerful for what we're talking about today, because it's really my calling, where there were streams of many different belief systems and lineages of spirituality that needed a container to do the convergence and the create a harmonious coordinate in the field. At the time that she told me this, I had no idea. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, okay. We were talking about, at that time, the reason that even came in is because I had several friends that had gone into like fundamentalist type belief systems. I was losing people. I was like, what's happening? She said, well, keep an open mind, because this is what you're here to do. And then I realized, now looking back, all the different lineages that I've been connected to, and some very different ones, but the wisdom at this time, the core wisdom, many of them are, yes, people talk about them being hijacked, manipulated, changing. Of course, this is human. It's like when we whisper in someone's ear and it goes around the circle, by the time it gets to the end, it's a different, of course we have a lot of that. But when you feel it with your heart, the wisdom, we need to stop fighting each other's wisdom and just find the wisdom that works for us. And so I wanted to say that about that, because there's some really profound wisdom here. And what I've been done, I took a couple years and went through it and lined up the archetypal wisdom of the divine feminine with this teaching. And it was pretty flawless. And really surprising. I've done that with a lot of teachings now. We have a lot of issues talking about the masculine, feminine, of masculine lineages and feminine lineages, and us needing to balance those in the world. There isn't an equal pay. There isn't an equal pay right now at all. I know this very well because of my own work, but meaning recognition and energetically. But we all have this blockage to clear, and that's what we clear when we do the heart of I am. So I'm just going to take a moment and see if there's anything we want to say on that before we do I am. All we have to do is take responsibility for that place, clean it up a bit. That's what we call transmutation. That's what we call doing shadow work. That's what we call forgiveness. And that space will open wide. It's like before you're ready to give birth. I'm just thinking of, the process of giving birth. That's what happens. That space will dilate and open, and you will be born again. This is what we are doing right now. This is why this all came in, because we're 3 days, 19th, 20th, and 21st, through the solstice, we're rebirthing. And so I wanted to give you this image of that space. All you have to do is own it. It's only your space you have to clear. Just sit. Let's sit with it right now. So I'm going to ask us, let's go in. I'm going to ask you to just, I usually go right in whenever I do this. I make the mudra in front of my heart. I have a few things I do. Sometimes I activate with a mudra, a hand mudra. We do this. There's certain things you will be guided to do that we're moving energy with. Our vehicle, we talked about our consciousness vehicle. every movement, especially if you understand the occultist arts, every movement of your body is moving energy. So when you shift your posture, you shift your consciousness. So I'm just going to ask you to tune in. I'm going to ask you to just understand that space. What image comes to you when you think about that little space between you in the underworld and the vast amount of light that wants to birth? And what it will actually do is, within the underworld, there is a solar light, and that solar light is the divine spark. So in the underworld, we have a divine spark. When your divine spark becomes activated, you begin to blaze the way through that birth canal. The divine spark is I am. So let's take I am in the 7 directions and see yourself birthing. When in light body yoga, we call it the light body sun. Birthing it into your field, and then we'll sit in that space and see what's available. And so just repeating after me. I am before me. I am behind me. I am at my left. I am at my right. I am above me. I am below me. I am unto me. Please take a deep breath in and fill up your diaphragm with air, with prana, with life force, the divine breath, very powerful, and hold it for just a moment. Ask yourself, what is one thing that you know you could clear? You know it. You could use your free will. You could forgive it. You could release it for good. Or you could give it to the divine, the Holy Spirit, the Divine Mother, or alchemy. Just bless that thing. Forgive it. Forgive anyone who's connected to it. And exhale. We're going to activate mind, higher mind, heart, and physical plane reality through our divine will in matter, saying, I am, I know I am. I am, I am, I know I am. A couple things that really showed. So notice we say, I am at my left, I am at my right, I am at my left, I am at my right. We can't choose one side. We have to understand both. You know, that war between spirit and science, between it gets so dark. Yeah, when I look back and reading this book and saw the things that human beings do to each other in the name of religion, in the name of even science, it was crazy. The experiments um, and how human beings could treat each other. We have come a certain amount of. We have come a ways. We still have this all over, and we're far from finished. We're not done, but I mean, it just openly back then, the human form and the human life wasn't considered very valuable. In fact, there was such an evil energy that took hold of the ego and the mind and set us against each other. We can't go there anymore, and we can't feed that anymore. Not when we're awakening. We can't get involved in that vibration. And there's a lot of times we want to make people our gods and bow down to certain people, whether they're political leaders or, huge people in the financial world or, science, whatever it is, technology. But we have to be careful not to give the power of the divine God to people in the outer world, because then we latch on to a certain ideology that in most cases is not finished yet. It's not a full thing. We can support what we really truly believe in. There's nothing wrong with that. But this whole spirit science thing is going to have to come together eventually, meaning there was a time, in the book I'm reading, it was a time when Christianity really came in and people were ready for it. This is what happened. People were exhausted on some levels from the decadence and the overdoing of certain kinds of sexual energy. It was just starting to spiral down. Not with everyone, though. There was a very strong, powerful lineage of mysteries contained in this too. But this, and so a lot of people were ready to purify, to feel clean and pure. And so they were looking for a God to put down the hammer and say, you have to do this or else you'll burn in the fires of hell. That was needed. And it gave people relief on some levels. They were like, great, we finally found a God. We can throw it all away. We can believe in this. It will take care of us. And we're on the path to redemption, salvation. But the thing is that became very vicious and turned on everyone else. And then it got so distorted and it lost the message entirely. And there's people that we even glorify today that when you really understand the energies where they were coming from, it was quite brutal. And so we just see a repetition of these forces fighting each other. There's always a bit of good coming through both. But the thing is, I just want to look at what's happening today and just think about what we need to know. We've been through a long, exhausting period in the United States. In some ways, the whole world has experienced that with us because this is the growth we're talking about. This is the complete, just the craziness that we've gone through. That language has just become thrown out there. It doesn't matter what frequency or vibration. The way people speak to each other in comment sections, on the social media platforms is just like we've never really seen before, and it's kind of like traumatic to the human population. At first we get all into it and then we're like, this is traumatizing. We have to rein it back in and start to talk to each other with grace and with divine love. And so right now there are all kinds of things happening, and there's definitely a battle happening, between the forces. And but let me just see. I'm just going to see. There's a mix of good and bad. It's a mixed bag. And it's because there's some genuine. This is what I want to say. This is really powerful. I want to ask you about that. This is there's a lot of people who are not bad, who are being, who were doing the old, what's it called? When, the old witch hunt kind of thing that's been done to women over and over and, all through the centuries, and the feminine, not just women, but anyone who held feminine energy always falls in that side of the, the side of the more goddessy side, as opposed to the religious side. The religious side didn't really want to let the women in. So the goddess side that held all the feminine energy has always been demonized by this other side. But this isn't the full story on the goddess. We have to see the whole picture, but it held the feminine energy. Right now, there's a lot of people who are not bad, who are not evil, who have been, all these campaigns against people. And it's really, when you wake up out of seeing through it, it's terrible. We can't demonize people. And in both sides are doing this, but it's really, really, it gets mean and aggressive, and the group think comes in really strong. And that's what happened in the book that I'm reading. The group think of this side, the religious side, came so strong that they literally wiped out everything in the most vengeful, brutal, inhumane ways. It was terrible. And that's what happens when we degenerate into pointing the finger at everybody. And it's happening. It's been happening for the past few years in ways that are really, really unfortunate. And but what's happening is some people that are moving through that and holding the light are going to be okay. And a lot of these people are going to turn into big players in the new era. We don't know who's who yet, so it's too soon. We don't even need to be doing that. This is a time to do this work internally and start creating. So somebody said, I found this doing mediumship. I wonder what if you were referring to talking about, I'm not quite sure what you meant, what you're referring back to. So if you want to go leave anything else on that, I'll take a peek. I'd love to hear your thoughts about balancing masculine, feminine energies inside of us right now. I feel called to be in the flow, but then find it easy to slide into foods and habits not good. Well, be careful about thinking that food, you got to find your rhythm right now, because the energies are tough. So I know everyone's kind of like, can I eat this? Does this work for me? Does this not? Wipe out what everyone else is saying and just look at yourself. What can you do? I find that if you push away everything that you think you're not supposed to have, eventually it creeps back. And with the tree of life, we're balancing in the middle pillar. Live a well-balanced life, a little bit of the goodies that you like, and unless you need to like slowly wean off them, but don't try to punish yourself by stripping everything away, because there's times when we need to do that just to kind of clean out our consciousness. But and it's good to get as a natural rhythm as possible with food, but watch that you're not clinging to it with all your energy and making it more of an obsession addiction. And a lot of food things can become that way. Patterns, yeah, I'm just gonna think about that. Patterns, it's hard. But if you align with your heart and give your free will, like we just talked about, to that space between, and ask for help. That's what the Holy Spirit does. Ask for gentle, graceful help. When we're true about that, when we really mean that, the help will come. The help will come. There's something really big that I feel like is meant to be said here. So I'm just going to take a moment, have you all think about that for a moment. Balancing masculine and feminine. So everyone has a different archetypal blueprint. Everyone. Own your own blueprint. Some people are just going to be more masculine, and some people are just going to be way more feminine, regardless of male, female container. Whatever you feel you are, you have to be true to that. Balancing masculine and feminine now can be applied to whatever archetypal energy that you carry. So your energy, it doesn't mean that you're perfectly, have a perfect male female side. Whatever, if you might be a really feminine woman, or a really masculine man, or a really feminine person born into the male form, or really, that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the whole gender thing is about people having to be honest to what's inside. Now, there's a difference when that's very truly authentic inside you, or if it's being, given to you by someone, then it defeats the purpose of who you are. But when it's true you know it. You know who you are. That balance of masculine and feminine can be applied to you specifically. So let's look at that, how that could look. So how that can look, let's say, starting with what I'm familiar with. So I'll give you a personal. I have huge amounts of creative energy, and we call it Neptune in the archetypes. I mean, travel in ascend the planes, retrieve information, retrieve creativity. My mind thinks in color, in light, in music, I even think in like plays, I think in films, it's a constant stream of creativity. And part of that had to do with having to process the information of the streams. That it was part of my work. So it's like on Game of Thrones. I hate to even say this. I forget the kid's name, that he just sat down and he would just like sit there and everything would just keep coming. It's been a while. I can't remember what his name was, but sometimes I kind of feel like that. I could sit in one place all day and receive. This is feminine energy and it's mystic energy, but we're not in the days of the ashram of sitting in a cave. This is a time when navigating the physical world, being able to maintain worldly relationships, business relationships. In fact, even my work, notice how it's been, I also have to have a business platform. Not everyone teaching my work would have to have that, but for me, I had to go into that more masculine arena of business and deal with the 3D world and deal with financial and deal with setting up platforms and doing all the things involved with that. That's very much appealing to the masculine side, that I would just much rather sit and receive and write in these hundreds of journals. So my lesson was that I have to show up for that, and all the little problems and challenges that come with that I would rather not have, I've had to go through and integrate just enough to balance for me. And so instead of the universe giving me something where all I had to do is create, because that happens for a lot of people, is someone who needs to be more feminine would be told, you don't want to go out and be aggressive and assertive in the world. You need to sit and learn to be more in that, if they were in this kind of work. That's my masculine. And it's usually the thing that you kind of don't want is the thing that you have to learn to empower yourself with. You have to have enough power. Women right now, a lot of women, the reason I do this, I'm called to teach the women's teachings, is because there's a huge imbalance for women and feminine energy on the planet. And women as a whole, when you look at all over the planet, it's heartbreaking. And anyone who holds feminine energy, anyone who holds that energy so divine of the feminine, that it's not the natural state to be, alpha, or just to even be out in the world and going at that pace. That energy has been very, very exploited and even manipulated and abused in our world. And there's a part that the feminine has to play to heal that, very much so. And that's part of what I've been working on for the collective feminine. But that energy needs to be balanced on planet Earth. We as a human race, that's what we're doing. We're balancing the astral and the heart, masculine and feminine, which balances our emotional body. So now I'm going to take it to another place. When I do that, and there's no way out of it for me, the universe makes it. When you have to do that work, you can't hide from it. It will show up. And mine was integrated into, it was integrating into healing the feminine while trying to go out and be in the masculine. It was a double whammy. It was like the feminine wound, I call it divine feminine alchemy, that needed to be healed, was getting triggered by every aspect of this. Oh my God, I just wanted to hide under a rock or go in a cave. Not going to happen. I couldn't. Everything, anytime I didn't face that, everything would disappear in my life. And I would have no other option but to go out and do that. So Some people need to go into the world, and some people need to take a break from that. So you look at what energies you have, what your personal blueprint is, and understand what it is. I work with this a lot with women. It's so amazing too. And interestingly, I attract a lot of women when I work with women that are super powerful, because that have the opposite of what was natural to me. And then because I really alchemize by giving heart energy, a lot of the feminine heart, the deep, 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 deep divine love energy was what I carried. But it does no good if you can't share it. You could be so upset your entire life, because let me tell you, the people who carry that have been through hell and back. It's not fun, because you come in and it hasn't been easy. And that's what we're trying to birth in the planet. I'm going to take a peek here. Felt unworthy of crossing over. I called in their, okay, so somebody said, several souls I helped felt unworthy of crossing over. I called in their benevolent ancestors, family, and friends to help them as well. The angels, that is so, it's so powerful right now, because understanding our ancestors and how we link to them, it's, first of all, it's part of the feminine lineage, and it's really, it helps us understand that we're all connected. I mean, even the chain of the master lineages on up through the higher octaves of creation and the higher galaxies and universes are our lineage. And though we can really understand that connection and allow them to teach us and help us. There's another question. Yes, somebody said, I accept how much I am in my feminine, and I realized that I can ask others to help me with the masculine practical jobs I don't want to do. That is something that I too had to learn. For some reason, I felt like it was wrong to ask for help. And so now we're getting into the wounds, but I know I can share this. This was a personal wound. I was born the oldest child of 6. I was born into a role of nurturing and caretaking, and I was very good at it because I had all the feminine energy. It's like, as the oldest sister, I could run the house with feminine energy and give and give and give and give. And because I could do it well, just like I could receive well, I somehow had a block from being able to ask for help or feel worthy of help, and that is huge. That's what we're going to look at right now. So I'm going to just take that for a moment. That one's calling. Look into your space. This is something huge. It's coming in right now. By coming in, I just mean that Neptune stream. It's nonstop. All right. So we're talking about surrender, asking for help. So I'm just asking to bring that back in. Well, you can tell how deep that one is for me. It just stepped out for a moment. It's going to come back. Asking for help. And worthiness. How amazing is that word worthy? When that happens, it's because it doesn't want to be seen. It's hiding. And the second you get it, as fast as you see it, it runs away. Worthiness. Oh, I have the whole thing now. Okay, I got it. I'm just going to say a couple words. Empathic, healing victim consciousness. I need to say those in case they try to run away again. So, and then I'll ask you to remind me. So, worthiness, the most anger on the planet. This is so deep, and this is what I've really uncovered in my own work and healing process, comes when we don't feel worthy. The emotional body of the unworthy is the loudest, biggest fire on this planet because it's feminine energy. And when we don't feel worthy, we start to burn rage in the underbelly, in the subconscious. And it's like, oh wow, I just got another Game of Thrones image of that when she was flying with the dragons with the fire. It was a bad scene. But it's like our subconscious mind of the wounded feminine is like it's burning, it's anger, it's rage and anger. So it's very important that all of us who have felt exploited, abandoned, betrayed, all of us who have, self-sabotaged, who cling to blame, even righteously so or rightfully so, that we right now find worthiness. Worthiness will get us, especially those who have feminine energy, into the canal so that we can birth into the light. And that's going to be where I finish. Went for a while today. So I'm going to ask you to just find your worthiness and see what it has to say to you. If there's any area that you could release some of the rage that you might feel from feeling, because the thing is that when we don't feel worthy, even though there's a teaching that some of the most spiritual people on the planet get connected to some of the darkest energies, because the spiritual energy is the one that is most preyed upon, and until it can hold itself in the world. And in fact, that's why I had to go into the world, to be able to balance the world, to be able to balance the man's world, meaning to not be afraid of it. Because if I just wanted to hide out and say, well, I'm on the spiritual path, I just bring in information and I hide from the world, I would never have power and I would be lopsided. And so it was the worthiness to step out. And that's why I do what I do now. That's why I speak publicly and do these things, because every time it's an affirming of my worthiness to hold the feminine energy in the world and to not be afraid. Many holding feminine energy have ancient memories of deep, 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 deep things that I talked about in that book, The Darkening Age, horrific kinds of even the energetic torture, but all of those kinds of torture, and I mean just terrible things. And when we heal ourselves, when we claim our self-worth, we can share that with other people. That is how we're going to heal the world. The world is not going to be healed by politicians. It's going to be healed by the people who are surrounding them with love, not with hate, not with attack, not using, God's name or goddess's name in order to go out and attack people, and not to condemn people, not to say people are this or that. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to happen when we can even shift those people that might be, they're counting on us. We are the collective, and our energy gives them the backing. That's why when we get involved in a group think that gains momentum and gets really aggressive and angry, it usually degenerates. That's all. It might rise high to the ideal and then it goes down. We want to have the right frequency to keep rising and to access this. Self-worth is faith. That's our pistis. Self-worth is when I say, I know that I'm worthy of my goddess self, my creative power. I know that my desire force is in alignment with truth and with light, that I've done my dance, and I may still be healing the more carnal appetites that throw us way off. But again, it's about integration. It's about balancing. We need to keep some of those to stay in a physical body. We need to understand the frequency of all of it. And it's just hugely profound. We've been going for a while, and so I'm just going to ask you to bless wherever it is that you need self-worth, and make today the day you do it. We're going to do this. We're going to go into the light, and we're going to see what it looks like walking through into this other side. Self-worth, nobody can give it to you. I mean, as parents, we help our children, we prepare the ground for them, and that's a whole other thing. I teach a lot about that in Light Body Woman in the mentorship I do, and I do all the Divine Feminine teachings. But we're on our own in some ways. It's about claiming our self-worth. And that means, it just means we're going to be so much happier in the world, and we're going to understand. Usually when people are off, it's because their own self-worth is so damaged that they're in their ego. They don't, unless someone's completely all the way there. I'll take a peek down. I've gone for a while, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a peek down, and then I'm going to come back. And if I feel inspired, I'll say a minute or two. We've gone a little longer. I might talk about the mentorship tomorrow for those of you who've been waiting for that. I'm going to take a peek down. I am Empress. I am Empress is here. Oh, nice to see you. Oh, value has not been prized in feminine value. I absolutely. And your Instagram is so beautiful. How you bring in feminine energy, that is classical feminine energy, meaning it has the outer world and the form of the body, but the frequency, it's all about frequency that we come into. And in my work, I call it the divine feminine frequency. It's that beauty is so rich and valuable, and there's more we could say about it, but I'm just going to say I really enjoy it. We have taken for granted. Yeah, and enjoy beauty in other people too. We're all beautiful. It doesn't matter. Oh my God, we all have imperfections. We're all going through the process of being born, being young, being this, being that, being that. But it's a flash. We're beautiful. We have to see beyond that, honor the beauty, and relish the power of youth and beauty in the world, but understand we're building a higher frequency of form that's going to be that is this consciousness we're bringing in. Before that, I felt so much light, and now just lost it all. After 2 days, I watched someone really scary and believe it, and I understand how it was not true. I'll say a couple words about that. That's a very big topic right now, and I can't go into it too deep, and I know it's really big on the airwaves everywhere, but yeah, when we look into theories, there's always gonna be a little truth here and there because there are real things, but we have to watch our emotional energy, because the book I read that I've been talking about this, spiritual, which can manifest as fundamentalism in religion, more patriarchal, and this sort of like the more artistic, mystical, artistic feminine side, both have a shadow. We always say that, but there's such aggressive attack energy, and both have failed in certain ways. And at certain times, one might be carrying a little more light than the other, but we have to go beyond all of that now. We have to go this is what I wanted to say. A lot of things that are out there are not 100% in terms of that. There's some truths and there's some big things we're going to have to look at, very big things, but follow the light and follow the love and follow those who speak like a goddess with power or like nobility. Sometimes, of course, there's deception, but follow the frequency. People are being inspired now to come in with a higher frequency. Things are going to shift. A lot of people are shifting. A lot of people are having a big wake up right now. Follow the love and bless everything else. And if you have that mission to bring something to light, do it with power and grace. Don't get involved in anything that's attacking people or saying that these people are this or that, where they're like hundreds of thousands of people attack them. Is not good. It's really bad for the planetary emotional body. I'll be talking a little bit more about that. Yes, nice said, Simi. Trust ourselves and our inner technology. Awesome. I'm so glad you said that. That is the answer. That's why we're doing all of this. Look for your inner technology. Look for the image that comes in there. Let's see. Let me just call it something really quick through that. Yeah, I just finally started to see that so many good people were being put down in the most horrific, hateful ways. Can't go there. Follow your inner technology, support those who you feel with love, and then watch, observe, and see where you're triggered, and you'll always kind of know. I'm at the all about love stage right now. Thank you so much. It was nice to see all of you. So I'll just say a couple of minutes. about what's coming. The most profound 3-month mentorship I've ever done. This one is my once a year women's mentorship, and it involves 3 of the major core curriculum teachings, as well as there's going to be some divine feminine astrology and some inner mystery school of divine love teachings. And it's going to involve light body tantra, light body yoga, and light body woman. And my whole life has been building up to this time. This year we're passing into, and I'm going to do the archetypes of 21. This is 1220. 2021 is the same archetypal vibration as 2012. They're both a 5. They both have the same numerical value. The 12 becomes the 21. This year, entering into this new archetype, I can't wait to start talking about it. But that's why I'm doing the mentorship for women. It's huge. Right at the beginning of the year, I'm planning to just unload that and really seed the planet with this energy. And it's big. It's really big. So let me see if there's anything else I want to say about that. It's the biggest one I've ever done. And it's taken I've been planning it since last summer, put it that way. My assistant and I read the page and I was like, oh my God, oh my goddess. It's really, really powerful. I'll leave a link in the description box for the page if you want to read it. I won't keep it up very long on YouTube, but if you want to go and check it out, you can book a call. We're doing it by call because there's so many details and questions, and you can talk to my assistant or I and find out about it and see if it's right for you. It's definitely a commitment, but it's the real deal. And so that being said, yay, so powerful. Light body woman is true, and it's light body human too. But this one, I got to get this one in because it's part of my divine mission. I put it this way. I had to go through the depths of the hell in healing the divine feminine through as a woman. And so there's certain things that I'm almost karmically obligated to be putting out now because there's only one reason when we really do that, it's to heal it and transmute it for the collective as well as ourself. And so it's the most for myself, it's my most noble work. And it's been the hardest journey, but I feel like we're getting ready to cross over, so I'm excited about it. That being said, I will see you guys tomorrow on Sunday, December 20th, and Monday. I'm doing it the 20th because I know for some of you in New Zealand, Australia, it will be the next day, and Monday. And we're going to really celebrate this solstice in a major way. If you're new to these past videos, I'm telling you, the 12 that we did are really powerful. One of those videos, when I watched them, that's why I had to take a break. They are so deep. One of those can realign you. So I'm sending you love and blessings. And I look forward to this birth canal process with you today, tomorrow, and Monday on solstice. That being said, I will see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, namaste. I send love to all of you. Huge, 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 huge love and gratitude. Thank you.